The fate of the two kingdoms hangs in the balance as secrets are revealed, alliances are tested, and a mysterious figure emerges from the shadows with a dire warning. Will the people of Umuaro and Oguta find a way to unite against the impending doom, or will their ancient feud lead to their destruction? Dive into a tale of suspense, betrayal, and the ultimate test of courage in the battle in both kingdoms, certainly. The figure's words echoed in the hearts of everyone present, resonating like a deep drumbeat in their souls. The armies of Umuaro and Oguta, once fierce and ready to tear each other apart, stood frozen in time, their weapons now heavy in their hands. The air was thick with uncertainty, and for a moment, the world itself seemed to hold its breath. King Chinedu, his heart pounding, looked across the battlefield at King Obinna. The rivalry, the anger, and the fear that had once consumed him now felt distant, almost meaningless in the face of the otherworldly presence that had just risen from the earth. Could they truly afford to ignore the warning? Could they risk the destruction of both their kingdoms just to satisfy their pride? Obinna, on the other hand, struggled with a storm of emotions. The mysterious figure's appearance had shaken him, but his desire for power still burned brightly. He couldn't simply back down, his people would see him as weak. Yet, something deep inside whispered that the figure was not to be defied, that the stakes were far higher than he had ever imagined. Meanwhile, Adaeze, who had watched the events unfold from the safety of her village, felt a growing unease in her heart. The dream she had seen, the river of blood, the ghostly figure, it was all coming to pass. But the dream had not ended with the armies retreating, there was more, much more. Something darker was on the horizon, something that neither kingdom was prepared to face. Back in Oguta, Nnamdi found himself at a crossroads. He had tried to warn King Obinna, but his words had fallen on deaf ears. Now, as the king returned to the palace, Nnamdi felt the wind's message growing stronger, more urgent. The wind spoke of shadows moving in the dark, of ancient spirits waking from their slumber. It spoke of a force that sought to exploit the discord between the two kingdoms, a force that would stop at nothing to bring them both to ruin. As the days passed, the atmosphere in both Umuaro and Oguta grew tense. The villagers whispered of the strange occurrences, of the eerie silence that now hung over the land. Crops began to wither, and the animals became restless, as if sensing the coming storm. The elders of Umuaro convened in secret, their faces lined with worry, while King Obinna grew increasingly paranoid, seeing threats in every shadow. Adaeze's dreams became more frequent, more vivid. Each night, the vision became clearer, a great darkness spreading across the land, consuming everything in its path. She knew that the answer lay with the sacred stone, but what could she, a simple village girl, do to stop it? The burden of knowledge weighed heavily on her, and she feared that the fate of both kingdoms now rested in her hands. As the final confrontation loomed, alliances would be tested, secrets would be uncovered, and sacrifices would have to be made. The battle between Umuaro and Oguta was no longer just a struggle for power, it had become a fight for survival against an enemy that none of them could have anticipated. And as the darkness closed in, the true battle would not be fought with swords or spears, but with courage, wisdom, and the strength of the human spirit. The figure's warning had been clear: if they could not put aside their differences, both kingdoms would be lost. But old wounds do not heal easily, and the scars of the past run deep. As the two kings prepared to face their greatest challenge yet, they must decide whether to embrace the light or be consumed by the darkness.